Good afternoon. It's been horribly grey and overcast today and the light's fading, so I thought I'd do a bit of footage before I tidy up for the day. I got the mat out and I've cleaned the floor up. That's about as clean as that's been for many a year. It's still very wet and I'm going to have to leave it in this weather for a day or two before it dries out. The mat can easily be removed once the pinch bolt for the steering column is slackened off. The steering column is telescopic, and then there is just down there a round thing there. That's the stop for the accelerator pedal. That requires a 6mm Allen key to undo that. To the left of that there was a retaining clip, and there is actually a peg sticking out of the floor. Just to oops, there, you can just see it to the left of the accelerator pedal. That normally has a clip on it. Without a mat you'd have to be very careful driving. Actually you probably wouldn't touch it with your feet, but it's not something you want to be standing on. I'm quite pleased with that, it's come up very cleanly. One thing that's interesting, in the opening for the step there aren't any drains, and there's a little well just there which collects water. There's a sort of plasticky thing there, I'm not sure what it is. It might be supposed to be a drain, but if it is it doesn't work as a drain. But that collects water and is a bit yuck. But all in all, these steps have got a lot less rust in them than Crafters and Sprinters. The plastic step fitting fits a lot better. I've taken the battery out. You'll be pleased to know oh, that's right, it's a bit old, zoomed out. Right, you'll be pleased to know that battery was changed last year. It's relatively new, it's a 95 amp hour genuine Peugeot battery. I've only just freed off a few cables here, I haven't really started doing anything with this system yet. I'm actually going to do a completely separate video, weather permitting, in a few days, just so that I've got a record of what is operational, what all the indicators on the main Genesis ECU, which is handbrake cables, or the handbrake is in the way. But there's 3 of the Genesis output modules on the right there, and the Genesis ECU is just on the inside on the left. There's a voice module, there's a CAN bus interface. Box at the bottom there is the wheel and siren interface. Wheel and siren, is it the siren? Yes it is, it's a siren amplifier. There's a battery charger there that I'm going to shift, and the box for the winch. And I've noticed some of the cables there's a plug below there, and the cables are not crimped in properly and they begin to fall out, so I've got to be a bit careful with that before I undo it. I'm going to have to mark up where the cables go. It's literally fallen apart. It's been under tension for ages. There are 6 huge battery connectors there. A red one, a white one and a black one. Below that is a blue and a green one for the various batteries. Dangly cable dangling down there, that's redundant, it's coming out. I've just got to actually disconnect it on the other side. But we've got the bulkhead, well at least the bulkhead exposed, and I'll now go into the back of the van. The bulkhead is a framework of 1-inch square steel. There's effectively 4 uprights there, plus one with a slight angle. Most of the Genesis cabling is running in that void there, up to and then going over the ceiling. And on this side, down there, are all the CCTV cables. They're all just put to one side at the moment, out of my way. I'll be removing pretty much all of that lot. So an opening through the bulkhead is going to be very easy, just cutting these cross pieces of these 1, 2, yeah, there's only 2 main cross pieces there, and they're the ones that we use to frame the window. That was fun getting the plastic out. I got it all out except for the bottom corner there when it decided to break. For some reason they've used the entire world's supply of Sikaflex just on that one upright there. All the rest was very easy to pop, but there it just wasn't coming off, and obviously couldn't get it to the other side. Bit of a shame, but I've now got 2 big pieces of the white plastic. It's very useful for making stuff out of. Right, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, that's where the air conditioning unit is up there. Where's my torch? light the subject. Let's just press that there. There's the air conditioning unit up there. You can see there's no insulation in the housing that it's in. You can also see just, can you see it? I'll pause a second. Just where that cutout in the plastic is, that's the original van's plastic trim, you can see some yellow paint. There is a cross member there. It's probably bolted either side, but there's a cross member there. That's a very, very strong structural cross member. The aircon's sitting on that, and obviously this cubby hole is sitting there on that as well. The piece of aluminium there is literally just a shelf. I don't think it's even screwed in, it's just sitting there on top. And you'll notice some bits of wood. That piece of wood is actually only stuck on with double-sided tape, and then the panels that covered this up were screwed into that, and it's actually falling off one side. It's got damp over the years, and you can see it's actually dropping. It's a bit Heath Robinson, but obviously it worked. So there we have the bulkhead, or their interpretation of bulkhead, and the grey plastic on the other side is obviously the interior of the cab. So for tomorrow I'm intending to remove the battery charger and the box for the mains and various other things, so that I can create an opening all the way through there, because honestly I would like to be able to work in this van, get in and out with the door shut and the lights on, and even the heater going. One of the things I wanted to do today was to make sure I didn't have to actually physically remove the heater down there, because I'm going to be using that probably in a week or two, especially when you're trying to do wiring. You can't do wiring with cold fingers, not really. And you certainly can't solder easily when it's very, very cold. So that's it's getting darker and darker by the minute. That's a quick update for today. I've made enough access now that I can make a start on removing a lot of the redundant electrics. You can see some of it piled up on the dashboard there. I've just moved it all out of the way. But I'm happy today. It was a dirty, filthy job and it needed doing, and this was just like the exercise in getting out of my crafter. It's just physically hard work getting this tape and this glue to Reese, and you can see if you look, that piece of metal there, the tape came off beautifully. They didn't use any glue on that, and the same for these pieces here, but as I got further across here they'd used more and more goo. And just had to be the corner and the side that I couldn't easily get to. There you go. Thanks for watching. More tomorrow or the day after. Bye.